hands, you can, might sound even cruel, you know, beaten up. Simply like this. But it's much more tastier for some reason if you use your hand. So you must give me 1 second just to rinse my hands because I've been touching other things.
We see how sauerkraut, which he's going to be doing with us, is such a valuable aspect. Especially we understand that our stomach, our digestive system, has a direct connection also with our brains. They talk about health of the head and the health of the stomach, very much connected. So here we go.
So what we do now, you use your hands, and also it's good for the exercise for the hands. So we simply start squeezing it.
You can see experience there. He does this quite regularly.
It takes about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to make it, to have it, to get shiny and start releasing juice. As I said, if you don't want to use your hands, you can stamp it, which is that easier.
Normally when Brother Mirko is doing this, then he would say, and how much are you remembering God whilst you are doing this? Because he's a very yogi soul. And so we understand as much as we do this, we have to pump in good energy through the vibrations that we give in. So you can see that yogi in action there. You can hear the crunch too, Brother Mirko.
You know, when you're squeezing it, you see it liquids coming out. So now it's ready. The homemade way is the easiest way, which I do. I don't put it into the jar straight away. I put it in the pot. I call it a fermenting pot. And the best pot for that is a wood, made of wood or a clay, but I don't have that, so I use an ordinary stainless steel pot. So we transfer this into this pot now. Okay, so then we flatten it a little bit, as much as we can with the hands. Make sure nothing is left, because if it's not squeezed, if it's not releasing its own juice, which we call it brine, it has to have its own brine, then it starts fermenting. If it's not, then you start mold, you start getting old. It won't be successful. So now, so that's why I'm saying it's better in a pot, because here, to make it better, we'll give a little bit pressure to it. And so to press it down, I usually use some cover that exactly covers in the pot. And then I press it down. So I clean it, that nothing really is left on the side. It will get dry anyway. Okay, you see it there? And then I put on top of it another little bit, it should be some weight. So I put stainless steel. The best is natural stone, like if it's smooth stone, to be there, something natural. But I don't have that, so I use a stainless steel. And in another half an hour, the water will come out over this already. Not the water, the brine, its own juice on the cabbage. And so simply now, I simply put ordinary dishcloth and put the plastic around, so because there might come unwanted guests might want to taste it before it's ready. So to prevent them, simply leave it like this. Now in this weather, in this weather, it will take it 4 days. I would say after 3 days, you can check to see. It will be, water will be out, the brine, and it might have a small bubbles like around. Nothing to worry, it's just a natural sign of natural fermentation in well, and it will have pleasant smell of cabbage being fermented. And then depends on the taste. After 4 days, I would say usually 4 days at this time, if it's winter, would take it more than a week. And then you transfer it. Once you taste it and you're happy with that, you transfer it into the glass jar, usually in the glass jar, which will come up to here. And with its brine, it will cover it. And you can put the lid then and put in the fridge and use it. I usually use it within 3, 4, or 5 weeks. And as the time goes, it still ferments inside the fridge, but it kind of matures. And that's very simple way how to make a sauerkraut. The most simplest way and at home. And
Thank you, Brother Mirko. Yes. So what one virtue did you find Brother Mirko exuded whilst he was doing this wonderful display? Yeah. Think about it, note it, because it's not just about the recipe, but together with the recipe, it's about the virtue, because this is what's consciousness whilst cooking all about. And really what you saw today is what Brother Mirko practices. It's a very inspiring energy. And then after we've had this wonderful toothpaste and sauerkraut, we can see another angel there who's getting ready to take us into a wonderful experience of making a Christmas cake. So welcome to Sister Shirley, a warm welcome. You can see she's super clean. That's one of her specialities, and she's all ready for you. And Sister Shirley also, for me, gave me a very beautiful introduction to consciousness whilst cooking. When I first came to the Brahma Kumaris, I knew very little, but she made me have love for cooking in a nice way with a good energy. So, Sister Shirley, a warm, warm welcome to you. We are still in Lenasia, and because we are nearing Christmas, she's going to introduce today and show you her wonderful, famous Christmas cake. Whenever we taste this cake, we know it has come from Sister Shirley in Lenasia. Thank you, Sister Shirley. Warm welcome to you.
Thank you, my Sister Dipti, and thank you for the lovely introduction and keeping this afternoon so light and giving a beautiful, beautiful touch to this afternoon's for cookery demo. So thank you very much. So because we have quite a few lovely dishes to share with you, and coming up is Christmas shortly, so we have quite a few lovely dishes to share with you. So today the Christmas cake, I'm not going to really demonstrate it, but I'll take you through the recipe slowly, but it is a non-flop Christmas cake. You know, you can, any time that I've tried it, every time it never ever flopped. So this is a non-flop Christmas cake. So to start off with, you know, I'm so used to making this cake so often as well. So you can, in a dish, you put 250 grams of butter. And, you know, these days it's quite warm. So normally if you leave the butter out of the fridge, you know, for a few hours, the butter is already quite soft. So you put the butter in a dish, and I add in 2.5 cups of boiling water, 1¼ cup of brown sugar, and 250 grams 500 grams of fruit mix. The cake mix, you all know. So 500 grams of cake mix, and in that boiling water, and then mix it well till the butter is melted. Butter and the sugar is mixed well, and then you add in half a cup of cherries into that water where the butter mixture is. Half a cup cherries, 1 cup of chopped up pecan nuts, and mixing them all well. And to just test the mixture, when the mixture is cold enough, the mixture must be cold, you add in 4 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda, a pinch of salt, and mix well. Also, you need some mixed spice. I like to put a tablespoon of mixed spice into it. And let me check if all are here. So we've got the fruit mix. Sorry.
Some of them have missed already some of the ingredients, so you will be sharing this again.
Yes, we're going to have, this is going to be, whoever needs, it's going to be sent up. Let me go through it, but very slowly. Then you can listen faster. Sorry. So to start off with, 250 grams butter, 1 1/4 cups brown sugar, 2 1/2 cups water, anything to repeat? 500 grams fruit mix, cake mix. So mix all that together and leave aside to cool. And then to add 1/2 cup chopped cherries. A chopped cup of pecan nuts. 2 teaspoons baking powder. 2 teaspoons bicarbonate soda. A pinch of salt. A tablespoon of mixed spice. I also add in a bit of vanilla essence as well, so that it also gives it a nice taste. So I think I missed out the 4 cups of flour, 4 cups of cake flour as well. When the butter mixture is a bit cold, 4 cups of cake flour as well. And so just to mix everything nicely, and put it in a greased pan to bake on 180 degrees until golden brown. And this is the end product of the cake. I just show you the end product of the cake.
You can taste virtually.
You can taste virtually. This is the Christmas cake and the end product of the cake. And this fruit cake goes so well with blueberry cheesecake ice cream.
And how long must it go in the oven for, Sister Shirley?
I normally put it about 45 minutes, but every oven is a bit different in terms of the heat and things. So when you see the cake, it must be this color.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So this is the Christmas cake. So that's one.
So some of you may still wonder and want to get more of the recipe. After the session today, all of this will be uploaded for you. And this is a non-flop cake. I've tried it myself, and it's a wonderful taste as well. It's called Sister Shirley's Christmas fruit cake. Very nice flavor. Yes.
So now
we
we're going.
continue.
Thank you. Any questions, anything anyone has so far with the cake or the ingredients or anything that needs to be repeated? Just put it on the chat and Sister Dipti will
I think we can go on, Sister Shirley.
go on.
Yes.
So now we're going to do a pizza cake. We finished do a fruit cake. Now we're going to do a pizza cake. Yeah.
What
So
virtue you seeing there already? Can you see the super clean hands and dishes? And go for it, Sister Shirley.
So thank you all for just being around and enjoying, and I'm sure you're going to really give your family a lovely treat. But most of all, you'll see the great benefit and the impact it has on family members when we cook with that deep, deep love and cooking in God's remembrance and cooking with that godly love and sharing that food with the family. So here, it's a recipe, a pizza cake. I have 1 cup of semolina and a cup of cake flour. So I know some of you are wheat intolerant, and I know some of our sisters who are wheat intolerant, instead of using the normal cake flour, they use stone ground flour, which is also very helpful because those who are wheat intolerant, then wheat doesn't agree, but the stone ground flour does. So 1 cup of flour, but as you know, for baking, if you use a cup for measuring, this cup, the measurement must be in all the measurements within that recipe. So 1 cup of semolina, 1 cup of cake flour. Two teaspoons of baking powder.
You see the virtue of being organized. All of this that you see here, it's well prepared beforehand, so that whilst we're working, if we're well prepared, we can do things peacefully.
So no stress. So here I have 2 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of sugar, brown sugar, 2 teaspoons oregano, half a teaspoon asafoetida, hing. So 2 teaspoons salt, 1 teaspoon sugar, 2 teaspoons oregano, half a teaspoon asafoetida. Here And then I add in a cup of color peppers, the same size cup of color peppers.
Take note how well they are chopped. All one size.
All one size. Color peppers, and it should have had a cup of chopped finely. I put it in the food processor, cabbage, but it's more than it's actually more than a cup. But I like the taste of the cabbage. A small tin of sweet corn. It's cream style sweet corn. So a small tin of cream style sweet corn and a bit of green chili. And then we add in 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Okay. Melted butter, and here I have half a cup of Nkomazi sour milk, half a cup of that, and a cup and a half of fresh milk. And I know some of you are vegan, so you could use coconut milk instead. And even for the replacement of the sour milk, you use coconut milk, but you add in some lemon juice, which makes it like sour milk or Nkomazi. So that is, so you mix it nicely with a lot of love.
So we see these are such amazing ingredients for a nice pizza cake. And whilst you're watching Sister Shirley stir that, think about what would be the best ingredients for your life to make a nice cake of your life's journey as well. Isn't it? Everything in life requires ingredients. So this is ingredients towards a pizza cake so that it will bring a lot of delicious moments in your life. And what are the ingredients you require in your life in order to create those most delicious moments?
This is a normal size baking pan, oiled normal size baking pan. You can all see.
This looks wonderful, Sister Shirley.
Yes, and it
so
tastes wonderful. It's lovely for breakfast. You can serve it with lovely salads. Just shake it a bit. So this is that.
And how long do you bake it for?
Pardon?
And how long do you bake it for in the oven?
I bake it in the oven. I'll show you the end product. I'm just going to, I got a gloves. I'm just going to put in some tomato. You chop up about two or three small tomatoes.
Take out the seed.
I take off the seeds from the tomatoes so it doesn't make the cake soggy. And some cheese.
They say part of relaxation is creativity. And when one can use one's creative energies to add to your relaxation, it's a valuable tool in your life's journey. To not always do the things you've always done in its own normal way. These moments we see are moments of creativity, which doesn't only bring physical benefit, but also brings a relaxed state of mind.
Yes. So this is ready for baking. And if you want to, chop up parsley and just do a little bit of garnish over, that's also nice. And this is the end product after it has been baked. Sorry. So this is the end product of
Wow.
the baked pizza cakes. It goes well with chili sauce, with salads, and it's a filling dish on its own.
This looks divine, Sister Shirley. I'm sure it's going to be a popular request after today's
Absolutely.
demo.
It's easy to make, and the things that you have in your kitchen, the cabbage, the tomatoes, just some peppers. So very easy dish and
Sister
very healthy. Sorry, I won't say healthy, but filling and lovely for breakfast as well. Quick
And for how long will you bake it for, Sister Shirley?
I normally
And at
bake
how
it
many
about
degrees?
45 minutes as well, till it comes this golden brown color on the top.
And about 180 degrees?
180 degrees, yes.
Thank you so much.
So thank you all, and you'll definitely get the recipes. It will be loaded on shortly.
So it's already been loaded on. We see that we are working at an amazing energy. I see that the recipe is already come on for today's one. And so the same way we see that Brother Vikash has already put the recipe on. Thank you, Brother Vikash, as Sister Shirley was talking. And so we see, as much as we have variety of ingredients to create a wonderful pizza cake, it's really a very reflective journey to look into our life and see what are the real ingredients in our life's journey as well. When the right ingredients in our life are mixed well, our life becomes a beautiful product. Sometimes we need to know how to mix the joy and the laughter and the stillness and the maturity, all the beautiful energies that can create the true pizza cake of our life. Yes, Sister Shirley, you want to share something?
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you, Sister Dipti. So Mother Pam is now on her way.
So as Sister Shirley takes our leave, think about some of the virtues that you have learned from her today, because at the end of the program, we will have the opportunity to share the virtues. Our Brother Mirko is back with his toothpaste.
Yeah, just for the waiting a minute while the sister stays. Yeah, oh, she's here already. Just wanted to show you it's settled down. looks like very tempting, like the chocolate, the paste itself. And smells, so actually whole room smells of it, of that essential oil. So all you do, transfer in a small bottle and small part of it on the toothpaste and left, right, top, bottom. So, thank you. Yeah. Into the camera. Yeah.
So now we have another beautiful yogi soul who's come on, our sister Pam. And Sister Pam also has deep, deep love for cooking, but has very beautiful yogi energy. She's a very compassionate human being who I have personally experienced firsthand. So today she's going to bring the whole energy together for us in a wonderful creative rap that you're going to experience today. See, we're going through such a variety of different moments. And so welcome, Sister Pam, also a yogi for many years, who've integrated her yogi life in creating creative consciousness whilst cooking. Thank you, Sister Pam. Most welcome. Just a little louder, Sister Pam, so we can hear you well.
Shanti. A warm welcome to one and all. In Baba's love and remembrance.
Louder.
Louder.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's we can't hear you too well.
Om Shanti.
More louder.
Om Shanti.
No, no. Get Om Shanti. Just speak.
A warm welcome to one and all. And it's a real honor for me to be here, serving Baba's children and the world around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be demonstrating a cabbage, soya, and a cabbage blanket. I've done the preparations already, but just to go through with it, I will read to you for you. So what I've done is I've sauteed the soya mince. I've sauteed the soya mince with green peppers and red peppers, as you can see, and I put in some dhania and jiru as the recipe requires. It's all easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Physically, I'm going to put the cabbage leaf like that. And then I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of soya.
Is it a raw cabbage or did you steam your cabbage,
I
Sister?
steamed the cabbage. Yes, I steamed the cabbage.
Yes.
And then I put in 3 spoons of 3 spoons of soya mince. And this is what I'm doing. I'm going to roll it like a Swiss roll. Yeah. And roll it round, easy, easy. And then we've got some flour. We're going to put some flour on it. The paste is made, I've given you the recipe. So you'll make a paste and then you will stick it. Okay? Stick it and you will put it into a pan. We'll do another one. Here we go. Put 3 spoons of it. Right? It's very simple, it's very easy. You're going to roll it, fold it in, fold that side, and roll it. So we come almost to the end. Put a bit of flour, your paste, and roll it. I've already done the pre-cooking soya already, and this is what the end product is like. So you can serve it with your salad, some mashed potato, and a bit of chutney. You can also use it in a patty, as a burger if you'd like to, or otherwise you can use it as a starter. Would you like me to cut it and show you what it looks like inside?
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
Okay. And there we go. This is what it looks like.
Wonderful. So, Sister Pam, once you've rolled it, you don't have to cook it or bake it or what do you do?
You have to put it into the oven, drizzle a bit of olive oil over it, put some salt and pepper, and then you put it into the oven. You put it in for about 15 to 20 minutes until it's a little brown, golden
Yes.
brown, and you take it out. Yes, and it's done.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And you
Isn't
can
it
use it
amazing?
as a starter, you can use it as in your burger, you can use it as a side dish, you can use it as a meal.
So, Sister Pam, somebody's asked, why do we add flour at the end of the wrapping?
To keep it sticked, to keep it close. The reason is if you don't stick it, it will open up.
Okay.
So if you don't stick it, it will open up. Okay? That is why we put flour.
So the paste is made out of flour and water.
It's made with cake flour and water, cold water. Just mix it into a paste and stick it. And yes, and then you bake.
And you can serve this with a variety of different accompaniments.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can use it as a starter. You can use it on a burger. You can use it as a main meal. Like I said, I've used it as a main meal. So I've got my mashed potatoes, a bit of chutney, my salad, and the cabbage.
Wonderful. Who knew that vegetarian cooking could be so tasty?
Yes.
How wonderful. Thank you so much, Sister Pam. Can you see how beautiful life can be with such variety? Yeah, lovely. So can you see that smile on her face too? You know? Sometimes normally when people are cooking, they get so caught up in it that they forget that the beauty is in the energy. And so what we see today is the energy. And we see in consciousness whilst cooking the importance of our energy. When we cook with peace, we cook with love, that energy, the matter that your body is holding absorbs that energy in. And today we see in the world how important it is, especially if you have children, and today's kids go through such a stressful life. So as moms, if you are cooking and if you can cook with a face like that, that's so calm and so peaceful and so loving. Imagine the difference you make to your family and your environment. Thank you, Sister Pam. Thank you very much.
I'll be taking you through as a dessert. We're going to make a milk tart, an eggless milk tart. Can we put this one? Let's just put that way.
Which one you want?
No, this one.
So you can see how virtually we first started off with the toothpaste, so that our mouth was clean, and then we had to sauerkraut, so that our digestive enzymes were built up. And then we went through our cakes to create the atmosphere. Then we went to the main course, where we look at this. And Mr. Pam, whilst we're getting ready, somebody just would like to know your soya mince recipe. You know that lovely recipe, mince, soya mince you put into the cabbage?
Yes, I did put it on the web. It's on the web, my angel. It's soya mince, 2 cups of soya mince, a half a cup of all red and yellow peppers, dhania, your jiru, dana jiru, your garam masala, your salt, and your pepper. Black pepper, preferably black pepper.
Thank you.
And
And then
salt.
you braise it.
And you bagar it, you braise it.
You braise it with what, Sister
You
Pam?
braise it you braise it dry with a little bit of olive oil. You braise it dry so that you can put it into the cabbage roll. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. I hope that this recipe menu came out. Thank you.
Murtabak is going to try it now.
Dessert now. We're ready for our dessert, my Sister Pam. Let's go for it.
All right. So now we're going to make a malt tart. I've got a packet of tennis biscuits which I crushed and added some butter to it to make a crust. You get the tennis biscuits from Spar. They're eggless. I've checked it out. And you put it into a Pyrex bowl. After this, there's no baking. Going to put the pot on. Going to add 2 cups of milk into the pot. Okay. And cinnamon stick. Where's the cinnamon stick? Cinnamon stick. Yeah, cinnamon stick. Okay. Okay, so you're supposed to add some cinnamon sticks in a basket, in the blue basket. That came from the English. Okay, so we've got here 2 cups of milk. We need to bring it to a boiling point, but just before it gets into a boiling point, make sure that the milk doesn't stick to the pot. In the pot, you add 1 cinnamon stick. Okay. 1 cinnamon stick, please. There we go. We're going to add 1 cinnamon stick into the pot where the milk is. We're going to bring it to a boil. Yeah. In this bowl, I've got 3 tablespoons of corn flour and 3 tablespoons of cake flour. Yeah. Then I've got 3/4 of cup white sugar. And we've got some cinnamon powder. It's optional if you'd like to put the cinnamon powder, or you can leave it out. We normally put the cinnamon at the end of the milk top. Okay, the milk is coming to a boil. So we're going to add the sugar in. Remember always, how much sugar? 3/4 cup sugar. And always remember to keep stirring. Keep stirring constantly. So that it doesn't form lumps. Yeah? Okay. I'm going to add the 3 tablespoons of corn flour and 3 tablespoons of cake flour into the milk. Butter. I'm going to vanilla. Yeah. We take it off the stove so it doesn't boil, doesn't keep cooking. Remove it for about 5 minutes off the stove. Yes. And keep stirring till all the lumps have dissolved. Yeah. You keep constantly stirring, but you take it off the stove. Yes. So it doesn't form lumps. Okay.
These moments of silence whilst we are stirring provides us with special moments to give good energy.
Yes, so that silent moment, yes.
Yeah.
Putting Baba's energy.
Yeah. Sometimes people say that they don't have enough time to think of good things. But these are the moments that are precious to us whilst we are waiting and stirring. Instead of just getting so caught up in what we're doing, we could use this moment very, very powerfully in giving the right energy. This is consciousness whilst cooking. Consciousness whilst cooking means that one is able to put your consciousness at a high level, a high frequency. And when you do that, you are able to then grow within yourself the things that you require.
Okay. We're going to put it back onto the stove and bring it until it becomes thick. So you can feel it with the whisk. You can feel it. Here we go. Carry on stirring.
While Sister Pam is stirring, think about what are your ingredients of life too. Yeah. What do you need to stir into your being, you know, to make your life gel well? There are certain ingredients we all need to stir into our being. Maybe it's more peace, maybe it's more love, maybe a lot more cooperation. What do I need within my own life's journey so that my journey can hold more substance?
How are you doing, Mama? I can
Okay.
There we go.
After you've taken it off the stove, you add 2 teaspoons of butter. Yeah.
You see how moms, they add just that little extra. You know, there's always just that little extra for the taste, you know?
And then you put a half a teaspoon of vanilla essence.
So whilst you were stirring, Sister Pam, was the flame high or low?
The flame must normally be low on low heat. It's preferably low. You work better with low than high. The reason being is that you don't tend to burn anything. You know, ingredients work just like the way the mind works. So constantly you gotta take it gently with it here.
The
All right.
constant steady flow, yes.
Our moustache is done. Now we're going to add it to our crust pastry. And then you put it into your filling. Yeah, can you see?
Yes, you can see. Do you see that we received a whole wheel already today? From our starters to the cakes to our full course, and this is our dessert. And we're still only in Lenasia. We still have to go through to the other provinces. Yes, Sister
Right.
Pam,
And then
tell
you
us.
need to
Yeah.
sprinkle some cinnamon on the top, just to garnish it, to give it a little bit of color. Huh? And there we go. We wait for it to cool, and there's your moustache.
Do you have to put it in the fridge or can it just
No.
stay like that?
It can just stay like that. It will just settle down. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Lovely.
Thank you.
So
Thank
we've experienced 3 wonderful chefs already, 3 very special yogi souls. Can all 3 just come there? Brother Mirko, Sister Shirley, and Sister Pam. Please come.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's Brother Mirko. Oopsie. And come here. So there's something making a noise. Sister Shirley, she's probably by the oven right now. There she is.
That is just it.
And can you see something what she did almost immediately? If there's something you want to learn about cleanliness, you go to Sister Shirley, you won't find a speck of dust. You should walk around with the cloth. So wonderful, 3 yogis. Can you feel their vibrations? It's not just about the creativity. The consciousness is one aspect. The creativity is the other aspect. But all these ingredients together bring a lot of love and purity, because matter that is holding the soul right now needs the highest level of energy for it to give you the best response. Thank you, Brother Mirko. Thank you, Sister Shirley. Thank you, Sister Pam.
Thank you, my sister Jyoti, and my sister Danielle, very incognito, but working, behind the scenes and really keeping everything together and putting everything together. Much appreciated. Having all the recipes typed up, everything, much appreciated. Thank you.
Wonderful. And so from here, we were in Gauteng. We were in God's Center in Lenasia, energy of love and abundance. And from there, we go now to Mpumalanga. So we are going now to Nelspruit, to our center in Nelspruit now. So just as we get into our cars to get to Nelspruit virtually, where Sister Indrani awaits us. Sister Indrani, we are almost at your door, Sister Indrani.
So is it done? Yeah, well done. Well done, sister.
We are just waiting now for Sister Indrani to welcome us into the center in Nelspruit. Sister Indrani, are you there? Sister Indrani? Just be a little patient with us as we go through. It takes a little bit of a while to get from there. Yes, Sister Indrani, I can see Sister Indrani has come on. So we've come all the way from Gauteng, Sister Indrani, and we are all 29 of us waiting to come into the kitchen in Nelspruit, into the center. And we are waiting to be having the experience. We are all present, Sister Indrani. Welcome. So Sister Indrani is our sister from the center in Nelspruit, a very yogi soul, a beautiful energy, a very sincere heart, a pure heart, a soul that has deep, deep love for study and expression and has deep, deep cooperative energies. And today, Sister Indrani is going to show us how to bake her bread. Is that, Sister Indrani, what we're going to do? And I think all of us need they talk about the bread of life. So on one side, we talk about the bread of life. And today, Sister Indrani is going to show us how to make this very special bread. Welcome, Sister Indrani.
Thank you, Sister Dipti. Thank you so much for all those sweet, lovely, inspiring words, comforting
So
words.
real. Alive, yes.
Thank you so much. And, they say a way to people's heart is through the stomach. And so today we will be looking at making bread. And lots of people find it very difficult to make this bread. The same with me. I know Dipti is an expert with this. And so we learn from each other as we go along. And Sister Shirley is also an expert. And you have to actually experiment on your own to actually become an expert like Sister Shirley and Sister Dipti. And once or twice, I just abandoned the whole process. And I said, no, I won't go on with it. And so the one day, I don't know what got into me, and I was so inspired. And I said, I'm going to experiment without following the recipe 100%. So I experimented, and The result was really astounding. I surprised myself. And then thereafter, I started to make it the way I'd like to make it. And so today I'm going to show you a very simple recipe, which does not require any kneading. And so with this recipe, I have the ingredients of yeast. This is the instant yeast that I use. It works excellent. It's the Anchor yeast. And I use this brown sugar, which is 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I use 2 cups of brown flour and 2 cups of white flour. But if you want brown bread, just use 4 cups of brown bread. I usually use the Eureka flour. I find that it not so hard on your tummy. If you have a gluten problem, then it helps you reduce the bloating. So when I use the Eureka stone ground flour, the bloating is much less and it's more natural and healthy. And so into the brown flour, I will add 1 teaspoon of salt. So use this measurement for your salt, yeah? 1 teaspoon salt. And this measurement, the tablespoon, is 2 teaspoons of sugar. This is the sugar. So the sugar I will put into a bowl where I will put in 1.5 teaspoons of yeast, dry yeast. And this dry yeast, sometimes we think if we put more yeast, we are going to get a nice high loaf. You know, they say more is merrier, but in this case, more is not merrier. It can be disastrous. And so I used 1.5 teaspoons of this yeast. Just one moment, I'm coming now.
Can you feel the beautiful silence of the center? You know, every place has its own energy. And the center in Nelspruit is also a beautiful center, which holds a beautiful energy itself. They say a home is made out of its vibrations. And so as are the vibrations, so is the energy around that we feel. So I'm sure as you look at that beautiful point of energy behind there on the wall, such a beautiful connection for those of you who've joined us for the first time, just a very deep experience of the light and the pure energy that if we absorb within our journey, many things happen. So in the silence, you are back.
So I'm just now, I just went to get the hot water, sorry. And so I've got the dry yeast with me, and it's going to be 1.5 teaspoon. Check the expiry date on the yeast, because when it expires, it won't froth and your bread will be all flat. And so always check the expiry date. That's 1.5. And so when you're done with your yeast, you fold it up nicely. And what I do, I put a plastic band around it and keep it in the fridge. It stays nice and fresh and you can always use it again. So it's not wasted, yeah? So then I have 1/2 cup of warm water, little slightly warmer than warm, so that it has a good effect on the yeast. And then the yeast starts to froth, right? So you set it aside and you allow for the yeast to the yeast to froth. And once you get this frothy substance on the top for about 15 minutes, then you pour it into your dry ingredients, that is your flour and your salt. And you also add 3 teaspoons of oil. You can use cooking oil, or you can use, if you might want healthy bread, then also you can use olive oil. And so the recipe asks for 2 cups of, or 1.5 cups of water. So what I do is I add a little bit more water so that it's a lovely soft dough, not even soft, it's very sticky. And so I will show you the dough. I made one just to prepare it, just to hasten the whole process. One moment. And,
Can you see her availability? She's alone in the center and she's trying to demonstrate to us. And at the same time, she's also her own cameraman. I can see that. And show it to us nicely, sister. Okay, there we go. That's wonderful.
It's
Yes.
actually loose, yeah, it's like a thick batter. You make it like so. And on top, you can actually add some nice
Sesame.
seeds, sunflower seeds. And this one is still rising. So I made this lot just to show you the dry ingredients and the frothing of the yeast. Oh, the yeast is frothing very nice. See, because it's a warm day. And
Show us. Show us. We want to see, sister.
Okay. I interfered with it, so just leave it for a short while. Yeah, the seeds, yeah.
Just a little hint for those who are new at yeast baking, that whenever you are making yeast bread, always never mix salt close to the yeast. That's why you saw that she added sugar and the yeast together, and the salt is always added to the flour, because yeast and salt don't go well together. They inhibit the process. So that's why she added the salt to the flour and not in the liquid ingredients.
Yeah.
If you want the yeast to work well, then you don't mix salt into the yeast.
Very important point. So this is how you can just put on the
seeds.
The seeds, yeah. And if you want, you can add the seeds inside as well. And I will just put like a tablespoon of seeds in this one. Yeah. And so now I will just mix it. The flour and the salt are here. And so I will just give it a mix. And the yeast mixture seems fine. Oh, wow.
Never mind, we'll feel it. Little higher, little bit higher. There we go. We can see it now, my sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I just need for it to froth a bit more so that when I put it into the baking tin, then it actually has a good rise. So once you put it into your baking tray, you wait for it to rise. This one is rising very nicely, the ones that is in this tin, yeah. And then you bake it. You preheat your oven for about 15 minutes to 180 degrees Celsius. And then you place it in the middle of the oven with a lot of love. And you bake it exactly 30 minutes. And within 30 minutes, you will have the fragrance of the bread. And also the bread will turn brown, lovely brown. And so when you take the bread out of the oven, you just spread some oil over the top, or you can put butter so that the crust is nice and soft. And so after a while, just leave it until it cools down, and then it just slips out of the loaf tin. It comes out excellent, actually. Yeah. So
Sister Indrani, when
Yeah.
you've made the dough and you've put it to rise, how long did you let it rise for?
Oh yes, 1 hour. Good question. You leave it in your bowl, in this bowl for 1 hour. The dough, you cover it with a cling wrap. If you don't have a cling wrap, I just take a plastic packet, like a spa packet or Pick n Pay packet, and recycling. So anyway, you tie it up nice and tight. You can put a towel over it to hasten the process. So it rises quite nicely. Because the dough is so sort of like a batter, you won't see the rise. But once you put it into your cake, into the loaf tin, and leave it for an hour to rise, so you will see the rising. And then you place it into, after an hour, you place it into the oven, and it takes half an hour to bake. And in total, time is 1.5 hours. You don't feel the time. Usually what I do is, in the morning, I'll just mix the dough, I leave it aside and do whatever I need to do. And then after an hour, I'll just put it into the tin again and wait for an hour, not actually wait over it. I'll do other things. And by the time I'm finished, it's already an hour. So then I put it into the oven for half an hour. So, you know, when you have in the day, there's many things to see to. So if you're waiting over something, then it creates a bit of impatience and you want it to be done quickly. But when you do it in a very relaxed way and say, okay, fine, I have so many chores to do. First, I'll make the dough and keep it aside. I'll complete this task and then put it into the tin, wait for another hour, finish other tasks, put it into the oven. By the time you finish that task, your bread is done. So the morning time is very nice to do the bread. And you're fresh, you're awake, you got good energy. So definitely morning time is the best time to do all your baking. Okay, so the bread has risen very, very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, it's risen very nice. And then the end product, oh, the yeast is very lovely. Very,
Yes.
very nice. Can you
Yes.
see? Yeah.
Yes.
What we do is, you just put the yeast in. So what I do is, I put in the olive oil, 3 tablespoons of oil, any oil you can use that's available for you. So I will mix this in my bread mixture. Okay. And then I will add 2 cups of water. This is half a cup, so I'll put like 4 of these.
Is it warm water, Sister Indrani?
No, just cold tap water.
Okay.
Right? So you can also judge for yourself. Yeah, and sometimes, yeah, it needs 2 cups, so another 1 more. And there's no kneading, so you just I just mix it up with a spoon like so.
Sister Indrani is also a very versatile cook, and she cooks very quickly, very nicely, and has a ability to use whatever ingredients she have to
You
create
see,
beautiful outcomes. Wonderful.
it looks like
Sticky.
so. Yes, yes, looks like so. And so you then just drop it into your loaf pan, and you can wet your hands, you can wet it, and then you can press it in neatly so that you get a nice smooth top, and you get a nice even loaf, and you can stick it into the oven. But first, before that, 1 hour you've got to wait. So the end product will look like this. I'll show you now.
So Sister Indrani has been baking 3 loaves of bread. Can you see the one that has happened, the one that is happening, and the one that has happened already? So if you go and visit it today, I'm sure you'll have a nice warm slice of, oh, beautiful.
So this is the finished product. Yeah. So if you are making your bread and you're finding it a bit cumbersome, you are most welcome to call and check out how you're doing it, and I can guide you through it. Hope I'm available. And so, yes, and if you start making it, you can just send me a message and I can just talk you through it. All right. So this is your bread and you can have a slice.
Thank you so much, Sister Indrani. You know, it's very, very beautiful that we have different energies that come together. And so we went now to Mpumalanga, to the beautiful center in Nelspruit, a place filled with tranquility, love, and a lot of creativity and beauty inside. So thank you, Sister Indrani, a soul with a beautiful heart. And we see that hearts are expressed in the things that we do as well. So thank you so much, Sister Indrani. Wonderful. Great.
Thank you.
So is it time for a slice of bread and some chai?
Yes, please do come.
How wonderful. So we are really moving fast. So we've been to Lenasia, and from Lenasia, we've been right through to Nelspruit, and now we've arrived in Centurion. Can you see that beautiful, tranquil face welcoming you with so
Yes,
much love?
lovely.
Isn't that beautiful? This is our sister Aruna, a lovely, beautiful soul who has been a good friend and a beautiful yogi soul for so many years. And I've watched her heart since a child, since I've grown up. Such a generous, compassionate heart with such maturity of being and a deep, deep level of stability and understanding in her responses to life. So lovely, beautiful Sister Runa. Warm welcome to you. Wonderful. Tell us, what are you going to do today?
Okay. Hello, Sister Dipti, and hello to everyone. Welcome to Centurion. So today we have 3 things. The one that we're going to start off with is a pancake with vegetables. And so what we've done is we've grated baby marrow or courgette, cabbage, and carrot with a fine grater. And then we have 1 cup of rice flour and 1 tablespoonful of chana flour, which we're going to mix together. And in our mixture, we're going to put salt, and I have taken about a teaspoonful of salt, some dhania jeera powder, and some turmeric, which I'm going to add now to the flour. And what I'm going to do is going to add to this, I'm going to add the vegetable, the grated vegetable to that. So if you want to make it a little bit coarse, then you can use a coarse grater. But when the vegetables are fine, when you're eating and when you're chewing, it becomes much nicer to do that. So once the vegetables are in, also I'm not using fresh dhania, but I'm using methi. Methi gives it a beautiful taste. So green methi, which has been washed and chopped, which I'm now also adding.
Fenugreek, right? For those who
Fenugreek.
don't know what methi is, it's green
Yes.
fenugreek. Yeah.
So now I'm going to take some green chilies, finely grounded green chili. It always has a nice taste with the chili. We all love chili, I'm sure. I'm going to table 1 cupful of normal water. I'm just adding it to this container, so all the leaves are together.
This
Okay.
is one speciality of Sister Aruna. She knows how to use things properly. You'll never see wastage. Such a beautiful energy.
Yeah. But I think when our consciousness is of what we are doing, when we are the consciousness that we keep whilst we are cooking, the positive energy that we're adding, then automatically what happens is that there's minimal wastage. And I think when we were children and teenagers and we learned to cook, and my mom taught me to cook, that was one thing that we were taught, is never to leave things, even if it's a little bit, we have to make sure we got it all scraped and done. So our batter needs a little bit of water. So I'm going to add another half a cup. And I generally add the water slowly so that we don't make it the batter not too runny. So that's what our batter looks like. And to this, I'm going to add some baking powder. I'm just going to open that. And I'm going to take about, for this quantity, I'm taking about a heap teaspoonful, Charles. About a small teaspoon, so I'm going to just put a little there. Okay, and whilst that baking powder is getting mixed there, I'm going to just put on the gas. And I usually put the gas, I use a non-stick pan, and the gas is on about medium. So just there, you see how the baking powder with the water is getting mixed by itself. So now I can just mix it with the rest of the batter. Just give it a good mix. While our pan is getting hot, I'm just getting all of this together, and it's a good mix with your spices, and if you feel that the vegetables we use today, the cabbage, courgette, and carrot, is not something you enjoy, you can actually use any vegetable, but it's nice that it is grated with a fine grater. So when you're eating the pancake and you're cooking it, it doesn't, sometimes if it's too big vegetables, then it doesn't cook. It's not flat and it doesn't cook properly on both sides. So we got our batter ready there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of oil in my pan. And you can use any oil, 1 teaspoon, because it's a non-stick pan, 1 teaspoon is good enough. Just let that spread over a little bit there. And your pan must be nice and hot, because when you add your batter to the pan, if the pan is not hot, you find that your pancake won't flip over easily. So you must have a nice warm pan before you put it in. And if you want to put it on a higher heat just to warm your pan up, you can do that. So I think our pan is nice and warm. Now we're going to take about 2 spoonfuls into the pan, and you can see how I spread it, or if you want it a little thicker, you can Can you hear that it's making a noise? So you know that actually I think it's going to be about 3 spoons. Now, take your spoon and just spread it around a little bit. And there's no need to cover your pan or anything like that. This is perfect. There we go. Now we let it brown on one side. And whilst it is browning on one side, our next dish is going to be tofu, stir-fried tofu. What I've actually done is prepare the tofu beforehand. I've taken, this is the tofu that I've used. You also get another make which is called green guru tofu, which is a much firmer tofu. And it is very good to try and cut it up into small little pieces. It's almost like you chop it up into small little pieces. So in here, I've added green chilies. I've added turmeric, salt, and Dana Jeera powder. Now, I'm going to warm our pan. Again, just a non-stick pan always works well for me. So I'm going to warm the pan up. And I think our pancake is ready to be flipped. So just loosen it on the sides a little bit, making sure that when you flip it, you got the whole pancake. I think it's going to need a little bit of oil on the sides. I'm just going to add another teaspoon around so that in my non-stick pan for the tofu, I'm going to put some oil, and I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of oil. And I'm going to use some mustard seeds. So just about half a teaspoon of mustard seeds are going to go in. And I like to always warm the seeds. When the seeds are warm, it will crackle. Then you know it's ready. And I will add a bit of asafoetida or hing, about half a teaspoon. Some people say that soya gives them a little bit of gas. So by adding the hing, it's helpful. So our pancake is loose, and we're going to toss it. Can you see how nice and crispy it's on the one side? At this point, I'm going to put half a teaspoon of oil again and just let it move around a bit. I think our seeds are sort of getting crackly there, and I'm going to add half a teaspoon of the hing powder. Okay, can you see the hing powder is also warming up there? I'm just going to make sure that our heat is not too high. And I'm going to add this marinated tofu to this. I just have to make sure that I got all the spices in my pan and not left in my bowl. So I'm just going to clean this up a bit. This is a very lovely small little spatula that does the job for you. So you don't have to think too much about it. There we go, all in there.
You can see this is an experienced cook, eh? Economical, quick. Yes.
Thank you, Sister Dipti.
It's
I
true.
think we all have learned from each other, and so I think that has been the best experience, because I think when I remember, we were all very young when we came to the Brahma Kumaris, and we always shared ideas and thoughts that because we've always done cooking together, we've learned a lot from each other. So thank you, Sister Dipti. So while that is happening, I just want to just check our pancake here. It needs a little bit of browning there, so I'm just going to toss it back over there. Now to
To the tofu, I've got some chopped peppers, which I'm going to add. That's about half a cup. There you go, just stuff the peppers in there. I'll just let it saute with the soya, with the tofu for a minute or two. And then I've got some chopped tomatoes, which I'm also going to add to that. There we go. And just let that cook. So our pancake is ready. I'm just going to take it out. There we go. That's how the pancake. Take that away. All right. Our tofu is looking very nice with all the different items that we've added. It's very important, I find, that don't let your tofu stay watery, because when you let it stay watery, then there's no flavor to it. And tofu itself doesn't have flavor. And that's why it's important that we marinate it with good ingredients so we can make it nice and tasty. Just make sure that you do not leave water in your tofu. The last thing that I'm going to add to the tofu is some fresh dhania. Just put a little bit in there. Now, tofu, the scrambled tofu goes very well. It's just the Irani bread. So you can toast the bread and then you can have scrambled tofu with toast. Or
Okay, I'll send the bread through.
are you sending me a few slices, Sister Indrani?
You can have a loaf, sister.
Oh, thank you. It will go very well with this tofu, sister.
Looking
So I'm
delicious.
going to just lower the heat a little bit because I see there is a little bit of water still left in there. So I'm going to just let it saute for a while in there. So our last
Sister
dish.
Luna, just
Yes.
one before you move from the tofu. At which point did you add the salt? Because sometimes they say when you add the salt at the wrong point, it takes longer for the tofu to release its water, or too much water gets released. So when did you add the salt into your tofu?
What I did is when I marinated the tofu, I added some salt in it so that it could make it, because it's blend.
Yes.
That's how I am not too sure about when or it's.
No, that's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
So I just at this point in time, if you would like, you can add a little bit more salt because you added the peppers and you added tomato. So it might need a little bit of more salt, but also you can leave it. You can add it when you're eating. So if you find that the salt is a little bit short, then you can add it.
Thank you.
So yeah, that looks very nice, sister. I'm going to now show you.
Can you see how much love she's giving her tofu? Everyone would like to eat tofu that's received so much love.
This is a lovely recipe of a beautiful salad. So what I've done is the raw beetroot. I've peeled the beetroot and grated it, so it's raw. Second ingredient is rocket. Rocket is like a herb, which usually gets. I'm going to switch off the tofu because I can see that it is cooked. Rocket is used, it's a peppery taste, and it's used in salads mostly.
So if you, I'm not sure, sometimes people are not too much of a fan, but I must tell you that the mixture of the rocket with the beetroot is really, really tasty. So try it and then you can see how it tastes for you. Number 3 ingredient is feta, and I've cut it into small little pieces. So there we go, feta. And then we roasted pecan nuts and chopped them up. So that goes in there. And then we have a dressing. And the dressing has vinaigrette, olive oil, mustard, Dijon mustard, and black pepper, salt to taste. And this is your salad dressing that is going over the salad dressing. Here we go. The other thing that I am going to add is cranberries, dried cranberries, just a handful of dried cranberries, which goes inside as well.
Can you just repeat the 3 ingredients you've put so far already?
So it's the raw beetroot that is grated. Then at least it's 2 beetroot, so I put at least about a cupful of rocket, and I put a 1/4 cup of cranberries, dried cranberries, and I put about 1/4 cup of diced feta cheese. And then your dressing is vinaigrette, olive oil, black pepper, salt to taste, mustard, Dijon mustard. Sorry, I forgot the mustard. And so this is what our salad looks like.
Wonderful.
And I tried it last week for the first time. So I'll really tell you, it has a lovely taste.
Wonderful.
So this is our pancake. See how nice our pancake has come. This is our tofu.
And that's our
And
salad.
So
Wow.
I hope you enjoyed
Hello.
to be with us in the kitchen today in Centurion, and enjoy with lots and lots of love. I find that that is the secret ingredient in everything that you do.
And you
Couldn't
can
be
see me standing
just
next to a beautiful photo, and
Yes.
as a yogi, as a meditator, and behind the scenes is my sister Kalpana, also a very yogi soul, who's filmed everything today and made it easier for Sister Aruna. Sister Kalpana, say hello to us. I know that you
Hello.
are
Yes, thank you, Sister Kalpana. She made it very easy for me.
Hello, it's been a pleasure. I've had fun.
It's always lovely. So again, we can see and think about the beautiful ingredients and values that you saw whilst these 3 beautiful recipes were carried out of the pancake and the tofu and the salad. So today we've been now to Centurion, and again, just stop for a moment and feel the tranquility of the center. You know, we've been to the different places, and each place has such a beautiful yogi energy. And so now let's just take a few moments and feel this beautiful energy as we are into the center in Centurion. Let's take a minute together in this place. So thank you so much, Sister Aruna. That
Thank
was
you,
a
Sister
beautiful.
Kitty.
So it's been a wonderful moment that we've all had together, and it's lovely
Yes.
to be. So we
Sorry.
welcome to the end.
The slices of the bread.
Oh, you bring in the slices of the bread. Okay, wonderful.
I can't
So
see.
I think that there we go. Isn't that wonderful? So we've had the tofu, the salad, and then those are the lovely slices of bread made with so much love, isn't it? So before we come to the end of today's wonderful session, I'm going to ask all the different places, Lenasia and Centurion and Nelspruit, just to come on, put your videos on so that we can all be together again. Sisters in Lenasia, Brother Mirko, Lenasia Center. There we go, Lenasia. Is Lenasia on? No, not yet. They're coming on. They're coming on. Yeah, they are all coming on. So if you put your thing on gallery view, you're going to see all the different centers together. So right now you are in Lenasia, you're in Centurion, you are in Nelspruit, and you are in Durban. So 4 places together, 4 centers. And, you know, today we saw everything in the last 2 hours. But remember, it's the love of these individuals, because all of this requires preparation before time so that they could show it to you in such a speedily way. So amazing creative energy. And a part of this journey is that creativity. So thank you so much to the center in Lenasia, Brother Mirko, Sister Shirley, Sister Pam, and then going to Nelspruit to Sister Indrani. Thank you so much. And then going to Centurion, Sister Aruna, who very speedily did what needed to be done. So before we end off with a little bit of a meditation, I'm just going to ask you to unmute and say a few words of just a quick thing of what you have learned today of consciousness whilst cooking. I open it up to all the participants now. If you just maybe like to share a few values of what you took from today, you are most welcome to unmute and share. Anybody?
Loving greetings. Good afternoon. I just wanting to share that when we do this conscious cooking, and when there's a team effort, everything is so magical and so enjoyable and just fun. And we can really have great fun with God's love and God's remembrance and share that fun with everyone. And it's easy, Raj Yoga, definitely the practical example of that this afternoon with the team that was on today, so on board, so lovely, so light and beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Shirley. Anybody else? Any of the participants who were part of this today? And anybody who joined in for the 2 hours? And what did you learn today? What was the yogi experience you had? Anybody like to share?
Hi, Sister Dipti.
Hello, yes.
Hi, this is Sue from Cape Town.
Yes.
I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed, you know, and at one point you said something about, you know, enjoy the silence. I think one of the sisters was going to fetch something, and it was just such a lovely idea, you know, not to keep filling everything with busyness. That's what I like.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. Anybody else like to share what values you learned? Anything specific that came up for you?
Thank you for the patience and showing patience and love, and they're cooking with so much of love and kindness. It reminds us that, you know, food is the pharmacy of the kitchen.
Absolutely. Such beautiful choice of words. Food is the pharmacy of the kitchen. So beautiful, lovely. Yes. And today we can see more and more in the world the necessity for this, isn't it? Yes. One more last response before we end up with some meditation.
Not now, later.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I just want to thank everyone for giving their Saturday afternoon to share such lovely hints and tips and recipes with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's amazing how every place held such cleanliness, such the working was in such a beautiful way. So we digested many things on a physical level. And now I just invite you to take a few moments, just center yourself once again into a space of stillness and silence. And let us take this time to go deep inside to a moment of inner centeredness. Feel yourself as a being of light, as a being of pure energy. We responded to many things on the outer, and now we go inside to our true self, to that source of light and love that we are. I stay centered in this energy of myself as a soul. I am peace. I hold love. My inner being is joyful, and I hold inner spiritual power. I, the soul, am connected to that highest source of all goodness, all power, all beauty. As I bring my mind into the presence of God's divine energy, I am showered and enveloped with the purest energy of stillness, beauty, and spiritual power. In this moment, I just become still and absorb this highest energy and allow myself to be filled. I am light. I absorb light. I am peace. And I surround myself with God's peace. I am love. And I'm enveloped in the beauty of God's love. Take this moment in the same way as we felt the richness of the ingredients today in the consciousness whilst cooking. Create the ingredients in your own life, in your mind. Fill it with beauty. Fill it with spiritual power. And allow your inner creativity to bring the most beautiful outcomes. Stay in this energy of so much peace, so much love, in the presence of God's most purest energy. Om Shanti. Have a beautiful evening. Take care. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the participants who created such a beautiful atmosphere. And thank you to all of you for joining us this afternoon in this most beautiful time. Time with food is time with family. So, as a world family, let us unite for the highest state of consciousness in the world that needs so much more love. Thank you. Thank you all. Good evening.
Thank you. Bye now.